Okay, so knowing all of this, how can one actually reverse this disease? Well, let's hear from Dr. Roy Taylor himself on how he feels that one should go about it.
A new way of thinking, because until now we've regarded type 2 diabetes as inevitably downhill. It's going to get worse. But because of our work on the liver, and specifically the amount of fat in the liver, which seemed to be determining the liver insulin resistance, that really started a train of thought. Because in the morning when we wake up, that fasting level of glucose has been determined by what the liver has been doing in response to insulin. So liver insulin resistance seemed to be really important. Then, widening the focus, how about the pancreas? Surely this is such a crashingly simple disease. It goes up in prevalence if a population's overfed. If a population's short of food, it disappears. Hey, it has to be fat in the pancreas as well. Now, that was a hypothesis we were able to publish in 2008, but of course we needed to set about trying to destroy our hypothesis. That's what you've got to do. The cardinal sin in science is falling in love with your hypothesis. Don't do it. So we set about trying to destroy it by taking a group of people with type 2 diabetes and providing them with a low-calorie diet. Now, it had to be a diet that they would enjoy, follow, but nonetheless, 700 calories a day, that's what we did. And we demonstrated that the fat disappeared out of the liver over 8 weeks, but more importantly, within 7 days, the fat had disappeared sufficiently for that liver insulin resistance completely to vanish. Fasting blood glucose went back to normal. Now, I'd emphasize this is short duration type 2 diabetes that we're talking about at the moment. But over the 8 weeks of the study, the level of fat in the pancreas gradually went down and the beta cell function went back to normal. Normal! Wow! This was amazing to watch the beta cells wake up. It's the first time we've been able to do that in human history. So the question then became, okay, you've done it acutely, but is it going to last? The experts told me, no, this is going to be just a short-term effect. Go back to normal eating, it'll go away. Well, we did the further study. It lasts. It's durable. And so the next big question is, can we actually make this stick in clinical practice? So we did a large randomized controlled trial in general practice whereby we taught the practice nurses how to do this simple but effective weight loss program. They did that, and we demonstrated that, yes, type 2 diabetes can be made to go away. And in the direct study, we showed in the intervention arm of the study, at 1 year, 46% of people were free of diabetes, off all the tablets. At 2 years, 36% were still free of diabetes, off all the tablets. So, two things. We know what causes type 2 diabetes. It's too much fat in the liver and the pancreas. The second thing is, it's possible to use a simple, effective way to reduce weight effectively by 33 pounds, 15 kilograms, and escape from type 2 diabetes.
Okay, so to potentially reverse the disease, it seems like you have to reverse the pathophysiological process that was explained in this video. Visceral fat must be removed from the organs to allow them to recover their function, and then this fat must be kept away indefinitely to allow the organs to continue functioning properly. In more layman terms, you need to lose the fat and keep it off. And this can be actually done in a variety of ways, which I'm sure you've heard many of these terms before. Intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, ketogenic diet, paleo diet, etc. And a lot of times, like, these terms might seem they might seem a little bit intimidating, but like I promise you, it's not as hard as it might seem. Personally, I do a lot of intermittent fasting. I do a lot of exercising, and then I also do a lot of vegetable eating. And I can get into some methods to make that stuff easier in later videos if that interests you. But yeah. So finally, there's one last thing that we have to cover. So if diabetes is potentially reversible, can any patient at any point in their disease process reverse the condition? I believe the answer to that is unfortunately no, as far as I know. Remember those pancreatic beta cells that we were talking about earlier? Well, if those beta cells have become inflamed, like have been chronically inflamed for years and years and years, these cells may eventually lose their function and then become completely destroyed and die out altogether. If they, if all of your, let's say all of your beta cells become inflamed and lose their function, and you have like no beta cells, basically no properly functioning beta cells available, and most of them are dead. Enough of them might not be able to recover to the extent that they would need to in order for your body to produce insulin endogenously like a normal functioning human body. This may happen after years and years and years and years of chronically high blood glucose levels. Some of the papers I've read have said 10-year diabetics and above might actually not be able to reverse the disease process, unfortunately. And also, if certain secondary complications have occurred due to the high blood glucose levels, such as neuropathy, nephropathy, or retinopathy, then these conditions have different underlying mechanisms to their pathophysiology, so these conditions may not be reversible. And the damages from these pathophysiologies may not be reversible. But even with all that being said, I do believe for any diabetic, especially any type 2 diabetic, it's worth attempting to, make some lifestyle changes that would really help your body out, especially in the long run. I think, honestly, in my opinion, the easiest way to go about doing this is with fasting, like whether it be intermittent fasting or long-term fasting, like a more classic type of fasting. I think basically anything that in which your body just takes in less stuff. Like, so essentially the whole theory behind this is to let your body use up the energy stores that it already has. Like, I guess think about it this way. Like, if you already have an excess of energy, what would be the point of taking in more energy? Like, let's say you already have as much energy as you need to, like, go about being a properly functioning human being. Like, because that is actually, like, the body has evolved to store energy as fat and then to burn that energy off slowly. Like, it's fat tissue is a very efficient energy source for the body, and it evolved to be that way. Like, just think about it this way. Like, humans have not always had access to food 24/7, or access to any type of food whenever they want, wherever they want. Like, energy has been more scarce for the vast majority of human history. Like, for hundreds of thousands of years, humans have lived in a state where, like, they didn't necessarily, they weren't certain when and where their next meal would be and, like, what it would be. And then even though we're not living in that state today, like, your body is still built for that kind of environment and lifestyle. So you can, like, mimic that to a certain extent by simply just, not eating all the time. Like, and then, everyone's body is a little bit different. So, like, like, what may be your lifestyle might not be the exact same as another person's. Like, I think everyone can benefit from some kind of fasting, because, like, no matter what kind of lifestyle you're living, your body has evolved to fast. And then, like, fasting, you don't even have to use the term fasting. Like, your body just has evolved to not be eating all the time. Your body actually works well, and I'll get into this in later videos about the benefits of fasting, but like your body has actually evolved to live in that manner, like where you eat a lot, you eat at once, like you eat in one sitting, and you might go for a little bit of time without eating, and then like whatever your body has stored, it just starts to burn that off in an efficient manner. And yeah, honestly, I think once you start, if you start fasting, especially like exercising on top of that, like you can't necessarily, you can't target the visceral fat. So like you can't say, okay, I purposely want to lose the visceral fat, but you can just begin like, fasting in general and like losing weight in general, and then along like, you'll start burning your visceral fat, you'll burn your subcutaneous fat, like you'll just burn like whatever your body wants to burn. And then like in doing that, you'll start to notice like, the weight coming off, and then like you'll just be more healthier, like your body will just essentially be doing what it was meant to do. Yeah, and it's actually, it's actually not, it's not, it's more of like a mental barrier thing rather than like a hard thing to do, because technically you're actually like doing nothing, like you're just not eating. That's actually technically easier than eating, from like a energy expenditure standpoint. Like you actually just have to do nothing in terms of food. But yeah, so I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with that for now. Like I said, there's other methods to go about losing the weight and keeping it off, but I would definitely start with fasting and see how that works for you. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.